Welcome to the Fear and Greed Business News Afternoon Report for Thursday, the 25th of July, 2024. I'm Sean Aylmer. Every afternoon, we've got the 5 stories that happened today that you need to know about. Story number 1, the S&P ASX 200 closed down 1.3% today to 7,861 points, with a sell-off in tech stocks and commodity-based companies leading 3/4 of the index lower. The tech index ended the day down 2.7%, with WiseTech Global down 3%. That followed a sell-off on Wall Street overnight, with the tech-heavy Nasdaq ending down 3.6%, including a 12% slump in Tesla shares. Worst of the large caps was Fortescue Metals Group, which ended down 5%. Other poor performers included Wesfarmers, Goodman Group, Santos, James Hardie, Transurban, plenty of them today. In fact, all top 30 stocks closed lower. In corporate news, jobs marketplace Seek has written down the value of its Chinese marketplace, Zhaopin, by $141 million in an outcome it blamed on China's weak economy. Its share price was down 1.6%, and shares in retailer and oil refiner Ampol were sold down 3% after it said trading in the first half of 2024 was resilient. Story number 2, rising costs of mining iron ore in Western Australia is hurting Fortescue Metals Group, with the miner warning costs could be up by 9% in the next year. That was enough to trigger a 5% sell-off in Fortescue's share price, taking the total decline this year to about 30%. The group said export volumes would be higher than last year, but unit costs will still be higher by between 1% and 9%. Fortescue Metals Group has experienced continued pressure on costs, and digging up a tonne of iron ore is now almost 50% more expensive than it was before the COVID-19 pandemic. The strip ratio, which is the amount of waste rock dug up to access saleable iron ore, is also expected to rise. That will add to costs. Analysts expect Fortescue Metals Group to announce an underlying profit of around $9.3 billion next month. Story number 3, Origin Energy will spend another $450 million to expand its battery storage capacity at its Eraring generation site in New South Wales. A second battery at the facility will add longer duration storage, which is increasingly needed as the transition to renewables continues. It will involve a storage system with more than 4 hours of capacity at a maximum output of 240 megawatts and is due online in the March quarter of 2027. Now, the $600 million first battery installation involves 2 hours of storage. Origin said the size of the second system will make it suitable for absorbing excess solar generation during the day and supplying it through evening peak demand periods. That's one of the big issues for renewables at the moment. Story number 4, Macquarie Group today said fewer big transactions are holding down earnings, sending its share price down 3.6%. Business at its investment banking and financing arm, traditionally one of the strong suits of the group, has been slow, with fewer corporate deals and slower sales of assets. Boss Shamara Wickramanayaka said she remains cautious about the short-term outlook, and the turnaround reported by US investment banks wasn't happening in Australia yet. Macquarie said earnings in the June quarter were flat. The group held its AGM today. Its year end is March, so the new data out today was just 3 months' worth. Helping during the quarter was increased activity in commodities trading, in part thanks to what's going on in the North American gas, power and emissions markets. And story number 5, a quirky one. The number of Japanese citizens fell at the fastest rate last year since data collection began in the 1960s, adding pressure on the nation's social security system and shrinking labour market. The population of Japanese nationals fell by more than 861,000 to 121.6 million over last year, extending a streak of decline to 15 years. Incredible. That's according to the Ministry of Internal Affairs. While the foreign population increased 11% to hit 3 million for the first time, it wasn't enough to make up for the shortfall in Japanese nationals, and the overall population shrank by 0.4%, according to a report on Bloomberg. The immediate challenge from the falling population is finding a labour force. There are nearly 3 openings for every worker looking for a job in Japan. That's it for the afternoon report for Thursday, the 25th of July, 2024. Don't forget to hit follow on the podcast and find Fear and Greed on LinkedIn, Instagram, X, TikTok and Facebook. Join Michael Thompson and I tomorrow morning for the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed, the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your evening.